Hi there, and thank you for your interest in our work. My name is David Maxwell, and together with Nirmal Roy, the two of us are going to present you with a whirlwind overview of our user study that examines how users are impacted by the design of the search engine results page, or SERP for short, as we'll refer to it. And this follows on from previous work that was undertaken a decade prior. This work has also been done with Claudia Hoff, with all three of us based at Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands. And a quick acknowledgement to the SIG-IR just before I begin. Many thanks to you for the funding from the student travel grant for Nirmal to attend SIG-IR in person in Madrid so you can present this work. Thank you, we appreciate it. So the SERP has changed considerably over the years, as I'm sure we're all aware. For example, if I wanted to buy a camera before my trip to Madrid and I was looking for camera shops close to me, if I had issued such a query to a search engine back in the late 1990s or early 2000s, I would have been greeted with a SERP like the one you're seeing now. Something that's incredibly basic, 10 blue links, 10 links to different websites, and these links are obviously based on the ranking that the algorithm thinks is best. Now, this is incidentally what a lot of information retrieval measures and metrics still assume people see and interact with, which is obviously not the case nowadays, because we know that as time has gone on, the SERP design has evolved. If we fast forward to 2014, this is a screenshot from Microsoft Bing. For example, we can see image results interleaved with web search results. We can see query suggestions on the right rail. There are also tabs for specific verticals like images, videos, maps, etc., etc. SERPs started to become more and more heterogeneous around the early 2010s. And if I was to issue the same query now, we see even more additional heterogeneous content, right? This is Google. We see entity card on the right-hand side of Canon, the camera company. We see images of cameras. We see advertisements for cameras. We see maps and whatnot. We can't even see the first organic search result without scrolling below the fold. SERPs provide us with much more heterogeneous content than ever before. So, consequently, how users typically interact with SERPs has changed over time. For information that I could only look up by clicking on a link and reading a document before, I can now see it presented as a direct answer or in the form of a component such as an entity card without a single click on the SERP. User interactions depend not only on what heterogeneous content is shown, but how and where they are presented on the SERP, and there have been a number of different studies over the years which have shown that. Moreover, you can also ask, how would user interactions change if we presented the SERP in a completely different layout, such as, for example, a grid? Recently, U.com presented results in a grid view, and as we can see from this screenshot you're looking at now, results are presented in a more compact manner compared to the more traditional underneath list layout. The effect of this layout on user interactions hasn't really been studied as much as its list counterpart, if at all. And moreover, not only are user interactions influenced by the SERP design, they also depend on the task at hand. For example, if I want to know the name of the venue for SIG-IR, I might just hover or look at the first document and find the answer there. This would be a simple information need and was solved without a lot of interaction. You can see from the snippet, it's like, oh, it's in Madrid, easy peasy. However, looking for things to do in Madrid, which is a much more complex information need, cannot be typically solved with this little effort. Since I'll only be able to go out in the evening after the conference, I might need to research good spots to hang out in the evening, or shortlist the monuments that I'm looking to go in to take a picture of with my newly purchased camera. It will require me to do a lot of reading, look at a number of blog posts, look at other links, look at reviews, etc., etc. And we've seen a concerted effort from search engines in the past couple of years to try and sort of summarize the main gist of a particular document to try and give you an idea or a flavor of what a particular answer might be, such as in this screenshot here. So, on this note, we explore to what extent user study findings from approximately 10 years ago, whether or not they still hold today. To what extent has the ever-evolving SERP affected a user's interactions? Do users exhibit different behavior today than what they used to a decade back? Specifically, we focus our attention on reproducing the experimental setup of two prior studies, one by Jaime Arguello et al. And one study by Siu and Chaparro. These were published in 2012 and 2014 respectively. Now, Arguello et al. Compared if users interacted differently when vertical results like images and videos were interleaved with web results on the main page versus when they were only present on their respective page. They also observed the effect of task complexity on the said user interactions with web results and vertical results. Now, on the other hand, Siu and Chaparro observed the effect of SERP layout on user interactions with web results. They compared a list layout SERP versus a grid layout SERP. They only experimented with web search results and they did not include any vertical results. So, Nirmal, what are the different research questions that we're going to be addressing?
Thanks, David, for asking that. Inspired by the two papers we produce, our study is guided by the following research questions. At first, we ask, what is the effect of SERP layout on user interactions? To answer the question, we implemented four different kinds of SERP layouts. We had a simple list layout where we provided the web search results in a list format, much like the 10 blue links layout with titles and snippets. We also provided an image and video tab where, by clicking, users can explore images and video results. We also had a heterogeneous list layout where we presented a fixed number of images and video results on the main SERP itself. So after the third web search result, this blue link, um, we interleaved images and videos right on the SERP. But additionally, we also had the images and video tabs here as well so that users can explore more of these vertical results. We had a simple grid layout where we provided web search results in a grid format that looked like this. There were titles and snippets, and like the other list layouts, we again presented the users with images and video tabs where they can click and explore these results. Finally, we had a heterogeneous grid layout where, similar to heterogeneous list, now the vertical results were again present on the main page of the SERP itself. So thus these were our four different SERP layouts. Now in the second research question, we ask, what is the effect of task complexity on user interactions? To answer that question, we created tasks of different complexity which are grounded in Bloom taxonomy, similar to what Arguello et al. Did for their study. We had tasks of navigational intent, where we are, let's say, looking for a website or the homepage of Nike's Air Jordan. We also had tasks of informational intent, where either users would like to remember a fact, like what clothes does Mickey Mouse wear, or understand a process, like how do dams generate electricity, or analyze which is the best camera for photography in Spain. As we can see from the examples, the four tasks are of increasing complex information need. In total, we had 12 tasks, 3 tasks belonging to each of these four categories. For our reproducibility study, we explored whether 8 observations from Arguello et al. And Siu et al. Regarding the effect of sort layout and task complexity on user interactions still hold today. For example, Siu et al. Observed that users had more fixation on a grid SERP compared to a list SERP. Arguello et al., on the other hand, observed that more complex tasks resulted in more search interactions, longer search sessions, more clicks on SERP, and more web pages visited. They had also observed that there was no effect of task complexity on users' interaction with vertical results. For a complete detail on all the 8 observations, please look into our paper. We conducted a study with 41 participants who were recruited from Prolific. Uh, they started the study by filling up a pre-study survey conducted on Qualtrics, following which they were randomly assigned to one of the 4 interfaces. Hence, the SERP layout was a between subjects variable for our study. On their assigned SERP layout, they had now to complete the 12 tasks. For each task, they were presented the information need for which they had to look for information. Once they were content that they had found enough information, they were asked to provide a short summary of their findings. This process was repeated for all the 12 tasks. And finally, the participants finished the study by taking part in a post-study survey, where we asked them about their engagement with the various SERP layouts. We used O'Brien's engagement scale, which measures engagement on different dimensions like focus, aesthetics, usability of the interfaces on a 5-point Likert scale. Coming to the results, We saw that participants completing tasks on the list layout had greater number of interactions compared to those on the grid layout. For example, they had more clicks on web results. They also interacted more with vertical results compared to their grid counterparts. As a result, we cannot confirm one of the observations from Siu et al., where they found participants with the list interfaces to have more interactions compared to their grid counterparts. Moving on to task complexity, we observe that more complex tasks require more web results interactions. For example, users significantly click more web results for analyze compared to remembered tasks. They had longer document reading times for analyze and understand compared to navigational tasks, and longer session duration for understand compared to navigational and remembered tasks. However, since we did not find significant differences of user interaction between all levels of task complexity, we can say we partially confirm observations from the observation from the Arguello et al. Paper, who found significant differences for all levels of task complexity. On the other hand, we saw that remembered tasks require most vertical result interaction, although it being simpler than understand and analyze. They received users clicked like significantly more images and videos for remembered tasks as compared to analyze and understand tasks. As a result, we cannot confirm one of the observations from Arguello et al., who did not find effect of task complexity on vertical results display. Overall, we could confirm two observations, found partial evidences for four, and found opposing evidences for two of the observations from the studies of Arguello et al. And Siu et al. Please look into our paper for details on all the eight observations and the respective evidence we could and could not reproduce. In summary, we observed from our reproducibility work that the effect of SERP layout and task complexity on user interactions have remained mostly similar. However, the differences in observations from the two studies also has design implications. Firstly, the fact that users interacted less on grid layout SERP compared to list SERP might indicate that introducing new layouts which users are not accustomed to might lead to decrease in user interactions. We recently discovered that U.com, from which our grid layout SERP was inspired, had also changed their layout to list. Secondly, interactions with vertical results are not only dependent on the complexity of the tasks, but also on the type of information needed. Simpler tasks might warrant more interactions with verticals. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We have released the templates that we created for this study, uh, which resembles modern SERPs, and we welcome researchers to use them. We believe that having standardized SERP templates and layouts will help reproducing IA studies in the future. We also have released study data, and if you have any questions, please do contact us. And yeah, see you in CIR.